It's the stream to do it.
All right, here we go. We're going. We're doing it live.
You're listening to the Heroes Power Hour presented by BlizzPro.com. Your hosts, Balrog fan Zexorus and DJ Tyrant.
Welcome to the Heroes of the Storm Power Hour, brought to you by Legion by Lenovo and BlizzPro. Jimmy is on break tonight. He's out at E3 doing silly things. And well, we have.
He was hanging out with Mega Man the last we spotted him.
Yeah, I missed that. I saw he had a run-in with Blanca from Street Fighter, so there's that too.
Yeah. That's...
So, I'm going to hand it over to Charlie, because I'm not a host.
That's fair. So, welcome everybody, as you said. BlizzPro, Legion by Lenovo, thank you. We got a pretty stacked week. We've been playing a lot of games. Carl, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your week in video games?
Well, my week in video games, this weekend I went home, visit my wife. We played a whole lot of Sims 4. And in Heroes of the Storm, I discovered the Butcher's the best hero in the game.
That's what we learned.
So it's been good.
Now, when you play Sims, do you do wacky stuff like try to kill them, or do you like try to give them an actual life with meaning?
I mean, I'm still new enough to Sims that I'm like doing fairly standard lives and stuff, but I'm sure if I continue to play it, I'll get bored and do weird stuff.
In the pool. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
Sex, how about you, man?
It's been all right. I've been really respecting women in Friday the 13th.
Yes.
That game's way too much fun. I like playing Jason more than I like playing a counselor, mainly because I die a lot as a counselor and I kill a lot as a Jason.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but Heroes, I'm still kind of tilted about the Hero League thing. I'm gonna give the old college try in about a week once all the weirdos leave Hero League. But I finished my Team League placements right at the end, like one day before, and I ended up landing in Gold 4. But other than that, like flexing over there. Other than that, it's been a pretty standard week. I started playing Smite again on PS4 for some reason.
Good times.
Not really sure why I did that, but other than that, yeah, like I said, pretty standard week. Nothing too exciting. But what about you, Charlie?
Well, I mean, I got obsessed with that Friday the 13th game as of last week. Hasn't changed too much. I'm playing it a little less, but I still want to play it a lot. It's just fun to me. I just having so much fun with that. Didn't really play too much else. I did some Heroes today and yesterday. I, too, also did my Team League placement. Midnight hour, I got Gold 2 because I'm a slightly better player, so that was validating. It felt nice inside to know that I was better than 4/5 of our host at placing in Hero League. So that's good. But yeah, I've just been playing a ton of Uther. It's silly how good he is right now. I would be playing him even if he was just like barely viable, but the fact that he's, I'll say best support in the game. Second, if he's not the best, he's tied with like Ariel.
Yeah, no, he's definitely. I would say he's definitely the best hero in the game right now.
Yeah.
Like he's just Guardian of Ancient Kings is just too good. There's a reason why we've been seeing him picked so often in HGC.
He's the best clutch healer in the game, and you want clutch heals because they can often turn the tide. So yeah, but that's basically it. I know you. Do you want to talk about Urho a little bit and what you did?
Oh, yeah, we can do that. No problem. So I decided to secure some coaching from Urho for the position I play, tank position. And he said some things that were pretty eye-opening for me. Like, the basic gist of the coaching session was do more. Like,
Yeah.
there especially when we specifically worked on Dahaka, who's probably, like, in his opinion, is the best tank in the game at the moment. But we went over a couple of replays that I had, and he, like, noted that I could just be doing so much more stuff. Like, I don't need to stalk in or burn a well early or something like that. Like, that was the main thing he told me. He's like, stop using the well so early on.
Yeah.
And the other thing was,
Recalling.
Yeah, recall and walk back to lane, or if you have to, burrow into where the team fight or objective is. But if you can avoid it, don't tap your well.
He seemed to put a heavy emphasis on making sure you walk to lane and saving the burrow for when you need to soak as well. Like, if a lane goes unsoaked, it shouldn't go unsoaked. You should be there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, I can wait because I have that burrow, like, I can wait to go to objectives. I can push a lane out, deny the other team experience, and then go to the team fight. So it was pretty interesting. I thought he'd have some positive things to say about my pocket Kerrigan, but he didn't really have that much positive to say. He's like, you hit your combos, that's good, but there's other things you could be doing with her that would just
Well,
help.
I think he said you were doing fine. Like, there were points where you could be more aggressive, especially in the early game. He was saying just go for it, But I think he was more saying, like, she just wasn't that good on that map.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and he's right. I play an overly cautious Kerrigan, and obviously that's very, like, I always just chalked it up to okay, yeah. I do play her kind of cautiously, but
you know what that actually.
What's that?
What it actually is you use Kerrigan to break your habits of going in too deep. Like, you took a dive hero that needed patience, and you learned how to play more patient, so you tend to play her overly patient, if that makes sense.
No, that actually does make quite a bit of sense, and that's what he was pointing out to me. Like, there was several times where he just said, you just could have went for it right there.
Right.
Especially
on the tanks, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably definitely go back. Like, some of the things that I took away from the coaching session, I'm trying to put into practice. Like, last night we were playing, and I was pretty barky about what needed to happen and stuff like that. Like, even tonight, I was telling Ryan where to position when he was on Dahaka, and we ended up getting a pretty good pick off at one point because of it. So
yeah.
I'm like, there's somebody that, I know they're going to come this way. You need to put your body right here because you'll be directly in their path. They've got to deal with you first, and that gives us a few extra seconds to grab the tribute or whatever we were on. And it worked out.
There are a lot of various outlets out there for players, too. I think it's perfect for people like us who are kind of like in that gold range, and we know we could be doing better, but we need somebody to kind of look at what we're doing and say, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong. That's when these coaching sessions are very helpful for breaking you out of a slump if you really want to make a push. Like I said, there's a lot of, like, websites out there where players are, you can schedule a coaching session, you pay whatever they charge for the coaching session, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you feel like you need and you want to pay for. I think it's a good investment if you're a player that's hit a wall, so to say. I know I felt that wall a lot of times where, like, man, I'll never progress into Platinum. But the more I play, the more I see stuff like what you did makes me want to do it. I think Platinum feels more realistic for me now.
Yeah, and that's, and one of the first things he asked me when we started is, what during the console, as he called it, what are my goals, stuff like that. And, I explained I used to be in Platinum, I'm mid gold at this point. I really feel like I can at least get back into Platinum. I would love to break into Diamond. on any level. But right now, I want to get back into platinum. Like that would be a huge like climbing the mountain for me right now.
Yeah.
I know I can be back in there. I know I should be back in there. So, but yeah, it was really eye opening. I only did an hour, and we kind of had to like talk really fast to each other during that hour. So next time I'll probably end up definitely doing like 2 hours, and that way I can actually work with him on some 1v1s and stuff like that. Because he started kind of helping me learn some Leoric right there towards the end of it.
Yeah, and that's when he said generally I like 2 hours. That feels like a better session because we can dive into a couple more things.
Yeah.
But
so.
Yeah, very cool, man. I think it was a good purchase. I think people kind of like undervalue paying pros for that kind of invaluable advice. Like
he was incredibly professional about the whole thing. Like he was very, very serious that he's, he broke down quite heavily everything I was doing. Like for
what they charge versus like, let's say you want to learn the guitar, you're going to pay $20 a lesson at least once a week for a year to maybe be able to open in a bar for somebody, like the kind of like, and you're not taking guitar lessons from, a rock god or anything, it's not like you're sitting down with I'm drawing a blank on every single rock star ever that isn't, 800 years old right now. But sure, Jimi Hendrix, who's dead. You're not sitting down with Jimi Hendrix for the guitar lesson, which these pro coaching sessions, you're sitting down with the best of the best, and they're telling you how to play. So that's just kind of for the naysayers out there. Like, why would I pay somebody to teach me how to play a video game? Well, you're getting, specialized expertise kind of analysis that makes you better. And
yeah.
It's not a bad investment if that's what you want.
Like, yeah, I'm feeling really good about it, to be perfectly honest. I came away from that, like, feeling really good. I'm like, okay, he's given me goals to achieve, and now I know what I need to do to try to improve my play, so.
After watching it, I asked Willie, which site did you use, and do they do supports? He had no answer for either, but
no. Wait, is that what you what site do they use for like to go to code?
Yeah, what site were they using to schedule it? And I
just emailed Urho directly.
Oh, okay.
He's got an email. It's on his Twitter. And you just email him, and he gets back with you. It's like it's an email just for coaching.
I'll see if I can email Bakery. That'd be great. Bakery, teach me how to support, please. I'll pay you money. Thank you.
No, email Dunk Train and then make Elena the most jealous person in the world.
That's a good idea. She could pay for coaching too. She'll just pay for coaching if one of us does it first.
Oh,
yeah. Anyways, I think we'll transition into the build of the week first because there's going to be a lot with the patch, and I feel like HGC and patch discussion is a better ender for the show. So this week, Carl has a nice build for us. I'm actually at a loss as to what he picked because the notes here are just blank in his section. You are still muted, my friend. I am talking to buy you time to realize this.
Thanks. The notes are blank. I'm a bad co-host. I'm doing Vala.
Vala! Woo!
So if Willie wants to pull her up on the screen or in try mode or whatever he wants to do, give him a second to do that.
Yeah, we could have had that set up.
We could have had that set up.
I didn't want to just say, "Hey, Carl, what hero are you doing?"
You should have done that because I'm terrible at planning.
Even if you just
my wife.
put like a V there.
Yeah, I should have been like.
Probably Vala. He plays Vala. There's a V there.
He could mean
he wrote some. Yeah, but I would have guessed Vala.
Or Volrath.
Yeah.
You are muted again.
You
are not doing well with this. Every time Jimmy leaves,
all right, I'm gonna not do push to talk for the whole build segment because it's gonna wreck me.
Yeah.
All right, so Vala, since I guess we're doing some basic ability explanation at the start, her Q is a line skill shot that bounces to random targets after it hits. It's good in 1v1s. It's terrible for wave clear or like lane clear, but it's good on mercs.
How often do you use it to like try and catch them? Like how often are you willing to commit? I mean, I guess obviously if the kill is there, but like, do you ever just kind of fire one in hopes for a kill, or do you tend to save it? Seems like it can you can get lucky on bounces and it can catch someone, but odds are it won't.
Yeah, I usually fire it off if I see somebody sitting, like a damage dealer sitting up at the side in a team fight. I'll shoot a Q at them.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You know, so multi-shot is her AoE. It's a lane clear. It just kind of does some team fight damage. It's a great ability. That and her basic attacks are kind of what this build focuses on. Vault is it's a dash, and then your next basic attack does bonus damage. So her trait is every time you auto attack, you stack Hatred, which increases your basic attack damage and your movement speed, and it lasts for 6 seconds, and it all falls off at once. So one of the most important things when playing Vala is making sure you don't lose your Hatred stacks in the middle of a team fight. You know, hit the tanks, right? Vala is pretty decent in a 1v1, so if you've got to vault Q their chromie and do a bunch of damage, then, you know, go for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're playing back and trying to be safe, auto-attack their Nubarak. Keep your Hatred stacks up. It helps you with a lot of damage.
And I gotta tell you, when I'm a tank or, like, I'll suddenly see my life bar shredding, I'm like, what's going on? I just see Vala.
Yeah,
just
well,
unloading, getting her trait stacked. It's a good practice.
When she has full Hatred, her attacks are doing 180% damage. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's significant. Ult 1 is Strafe. It's a big AoE damage around you that does not, like, it can be blocked. And then you can vault and move while you strafe, and then Rain of Vengeance lays down a thing on the ground that stuns people for a very brief time. It's really used for catching somebody out or trying to like halt their melee assassin engage. So, anyways, the actual talent build I'm gonna pick, like I said, is kind of a hybrid auto attack multi-shot build. It's mostly, I think these talents are just very valuable and better than the other options on the tier. So level 1, I take Hot Pursuit, which means you get bonus move speed when you have full Hatred, and you get extra mana regen. The move speed is very important for kiting. It allows you to reposition well in fights and stay safe. And then mana regen, it just helps keep you up in lane. You can use your wave clear as often as you want. The other option on this tier, if you're playing Battlefield or whatever, is Monster Hunter. For really high single target monster or boss damage.
Okay, and is that only Battlefield of Eternity, or do you ever like sniff out early you might be on the defense a little bit and go Master Hunter on like a shrines where you know you're going to lose a few infernals if you're going to win the game?
I don't know that, like, Monster Hunter is good for one big boss minion.
Okay.
It's not that valuable in like Infernal Shrines where you have to kill 40 of them, right? Yeah. Your multi-shot is going to kill those anyways.
I think what he was talking about, is it good for defense against like a Punisher?
Oh, against a Punisher?
Against a Punisher or against, well, obviously Battlefield of Eternity was the one talked about, or, against a map where you feel like you might not get the boss. I don't know. It's so this is the problem I have with some talents. This is just a small tangent with nothing to do with Vala. They come too early. Like the options where you might consider taking them as like a flex pick need to be later down the line when you can better evaluate what the other team has done. But I guess really good players know that already. So maybe that's just me being bad.
I mean, yeah, I can see it being taken defensively, but I think the Hot Pursuit's going to help you a lot in the team fights. But it's not the biggest benefit. So. Go for it.
Because for me, just one last thing.
Yeah.
For me, like keeping the 10 stacks can be hard sometimes. So obviously, I probably should practice that and just get better at Vala. But yeah, alternatively, I always liked Hungering Arrow.
Yeah. So the talent I'm picking it for is Creed the Hunter. It flat increases your attack speed by 10%. And then after you've basic attacked heroes 100 times, you get a bonus 2% attack damage per stack of Hatred.
Oh, good lord.
Meaning you're at 200% attack damage at full Hatred. and you have 10% bonus attack speed. So it's a really good DPS buff if you can keep your damage up. So I don't think the other talents are bad, but for this build, I think it just puts out a lot of damage against single target. Putting your basic attacks out. At level 7, I go Arsenal, because it just helps your wave clear a lot. You clear a wave so fast once you have Arsenal, which is really important. Being able to I go to lane, I throw a W, and the minions are basically dead, and I can move on. Saves you time on rotation, saves you time. It's really valuable.
Helpful in team fights too, because it gives you that extra cooldown reduction for enemies hit, or enemy heroes hit.
Yes, which is really valuable. And then so at 10, so if they have heavy melee comp, like 95% of the comps you're going to face, you go Rain. Because the ability to break their engage is so good, or the ability to try and, if you've got an Uther on your team and you want to follow up with CC, you drop a Rain of Vengeance, and it secures those kills. So it's a lot of utility and very useful. If they're like all squishies who you're not going to be close to, and they have like one tank without a bunch of CC, then go Strafe. It does a whole lot of damage.
Yeah. The cool thing about Rain of Vengeance I've always liked is the fairly short cooldown. For how powerful it is, it feels like it's always there when you need it.
Yeah, never be afraid to use your Rain. Right? If somebody dives you, just drop your ult. If your Uther stuns somebody, just follow it up with your ult. Don't try and save it for the clutch play you think you might have. Just drop it anytime it's going to benefit you. All right, at 13, most of the time I take... this kind of depends. By 13, like Charlie said, you kind of know how the team fights are playing out. If you're being blown up in a single spell rotation, you take Gloom. Which is activate passively gives you 20 per spell armor, which is really powerful, and then you can activate it to consume all your hatred, and giving yourself more spell armor for every hatred. So you can have up to 50% spell armor for 5 seconds. So against a Chromie or a Kael'thas or something, it's really valuable. But if the team fights are shaking out where you're not getting hit by a huge combo, where you're taking a lot of incidental damage from their Nazebo and their Gul'dan and their Anub'arak's beetles, then Tempered by Discipline is going to give you a whole lot of value. The other thing is you have to keep your hatred up to get value out of Tempered. So Tempered by Discipline is a 25% lifesteal when you have max hatred. Mm-hmm. So if you're awful at keeping your hatred up, this talent is literally useless, and you waste.
This build's going to be hard for you in general.
Yes, the build is kind of focused on you're going to be auto attacking a lot. You're going to keep your hatred up. You're going to do a lot of basic attack damage. That's why I like this Tempered by Discipline, because it's a lot of sustain, and this works on minions and mercenaries and everything, and it helps you with those.
It's got to really synergize with that level 1 pick too, and obviously the level 4 with the attack speed.
Exactly, you get bonus attack speed. You have more move speeds, you can keep kiting and stay safe, and then you lifesteal, and it plays really well together. So then you have 16, which is, I hate 16, because I really, really want to pick Seething Hatred, because it makes all of the things I talked about so much easier. Of maintaining your hatred and making sure it doesn't fall off is like, oh, that problem's fixed. I'm never out of hatred. But Frost Shot is super valuable, and you should always take it.
Yeah. It's tough, because a Frost Shot is the difference between a level 20 disengage of your entire team and getting blown up sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's just an enormous 20% slow, or a 25% slow. And you control the team fights, with Arsenal, right? You hit like 3 heroes with your W. You reduce the cooldown a bunch. They're all slowed, and then they eventually speed back up and start moving. You hit them with another Frost Shot.
Yeah.
And it's so much harder for them to navigate the team fights. You're so much safer. It helps you pick. It helps you disengage. It's just...
It's going to help you keep his hatred stacks, too, if they can't just chase you down and force you off your autos.
Exactly. When you're moving fast when you're level 1, or you're level 4, 1, and they're moving slow from Frost Shot, you kite that much better, which means your discipline stacks, your hatred stacks are up. You're doing a lot of damage.
Remember when she had Blood for Blood?
Yep, I remember that.
Was that 16? Did that used to be?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And
Frost Shot used to be like level 4.
No, Frost Shot was
13.
13. Yeah.
Because she used to have Executioner at 16.
Yeah. So you had... Frost Shot is a bundle of a 13 to 4 talent because it has a range increase, which used to be a 4, and it has the slow, which used to be a 13. Right. So 16, you pick up both of them.
I just remember, like, there was a short period in beta, I think, where there were the Blood for Blood comps, and, like, she was a part of that. And you see it.
Yes, so
everybody just
would stage dive in, and you just 4 or 5 Blood for Blood him, and he's just gone. It was something.
Yeah, those were good plans in the beta. Sorry, go on.
Okay, so at level 20, I take Farflight Quiver. Rancor is an enormous DPS increase, but Farflight Quiver just keeps you alive. Which, in the realm of sustained assassins, the longer you're alive, the more damage you deal. Right? That's kind of... I went over this build, and here's how these talents... But that's the most important part of playing Vala. That's why I pick a range increase and a slow at 16. That's why I pick Farflight Quiver to give you more basic attack range. Because when you can play safe and put out your damage without being in threat of something else, you will do more damage than most other heroes in the game.
It makes sense, too. I mean, this build is front-loaded with a lot of your damage, especially your level 4 being... Probably your level 1, 4, and 13s combining for the bulk of your damage talents.
Yeah, you get a lot of damage early, and then 13, 16, and 20 are all just making you so safe and really hard to kill. Because you have a dash built into your E, and now your whole build is keeping you further away from them and keeping them slowed and life stealing, and you're hard to kill.
And the quiver makes keeping your stacks up easier.
Mm-hmm. So it all just kind of works together. So yeah, there's my... I'm a level 28 Vala, with a 60-ish% win rate on her, around Plat 1. So, if you're better than me, then, pick your own Vala build. But if not, then here it is.
Yeah, use Carl's. Do you... Now, obviously, she fits into the meta pretty well. She complements a lot of teams. Is there a spot, though, where, like, you either... Well, or maybe if you can answer both, would you say you absolutely want Vala and you absolutely don't want Vala?
I don't know that there's many places where you absolutely do want a Vala. She's kind of this hero that can slot in everywhere, like you said. She's a sustained damage healer. She's safe. She puts out good damage. You're not going to find a much safer assassin. Like looking at him now, I guess maybe Falstad with Gust, but that's about it. So if you're in a comp that really relies on blowing somebody up, Vala's not who you need. You're going to want to grab a Kael'thas and a Jaina or whatever. But there aren't many comps where she doesn't work. Yeah. Because she has the utility of the Frost Shot at 16. She has the utility of Rain of Vengeance. And she has as much damage as you're going to need. So.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, you kind of touched on it earlier. Like, it's a little bit iffy against heavy blow-up comps that are targeting you. You need that 13 talent, which I'm sure changes up the build a little bit. So stronger against when they're a little bit melee heavy, I guess.
Yeah,
Vala.
No, she's really it's a really melee heavy meta. And she's great there because once you as the build goes on and you have all this control, it's hard for them to reach you, and you do a lot of damage to them.
Willie, you got anything you want to ask or add? I know you play Vala a little bit. I've always had struggles with Vala, and that primarily pertains to keeping hatred, so I had a lot of questions here.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that you pass over Manicore entirely on 16.
What do you think about Manicore on 16?
With his AA as his build is I'm in complete agreement with you. Frost Shot is absolutely fantastic, but with as much attack speed as you're building into this,
I am building a lot of attack speed. I don't like how Manicore locks you into one target.
That's fair.
You know, it's kind of hard because the battle will change a lot. And you know, if you're, you know, sometimes you get to call the shots and be like, all right, we're engaging on this guy, and I'm 3 attacks in, I'm going to burst him for an extra 5% health, and it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're trying to juke the Leeming Orb and dodge the Nubarak stun and move around all these different things, the target you're allowed to attack is going to change a lot. And Frost Shot and Seething Hatred just get that much more consistent value.
That's fair. Yeah, and I've never even looked at Rancor, but like I might try that at some point, just because because I always take Fireflight Quiver. Like there's not a time where I haven't taken Fireflight Quiver, but I'd like to experiment with Rancor at some point. That looks a lot of fun. I didn't realize. Because that's a 50. If I'm reading the talent right, that's a total of a 50% attack speed increase.
Yeah.
Just off that talent. So that's idiotic.
It's a lot of attack speed.
It's a lot of attack speed. So, but no, that was pretty much all I had. I mean, he did a very thorough job of explaining, you know, what he builds and why. So, I don't really have anything. I think we can. Yeah, everyone give
Golf clap for build of the week. Yay. Thank you, Carl.
Just a clap.
You can clap for yourself. It's not like liking your own post on Facebook. It's not as...
What's wrong with
clapping? Joining in with claps is good. So we had a giant patch. Well, no. I say that for every patch. It's not really fair. This one wasn't giant. It was
healthy.
It was healthy, yeah. It wasn't just quality of life, but I wouldn't say giant either. You know.
Take a shot.
There were significant changes.
There were significant changes, yes. First off, obviously, we got Malthael in the Nexus now. I played him in try mode, so I feel like, you know,
You're
the
an
expert. Yeah, I can talk about him at end and safely and comfortably predict the impact he will have on Heroes of the Storm in the months to come. No problem. No. I have no idea. He seems like he's going to be relevant is the word I want to use. I have a feeling that once he settles into the meta, he has a kit that I very much like and I want to play. But I mean, I feel like I've been wrong so many times. Like I was so hyped for Butcher release. His kit looked great. Like, oh man, he's a single target and like he just kind of had a flat release. Do you guys? I mean, Carl, Willie.
I don't know. You're talking to the world's best butcher. How dare you?
We just found that out today. But
Yeah.
This is 2017 Butcher. I'm talking about 2016 Butcher.
Yeah.
He was kind of nightmarish on the initial release, if I'm honest. But like Malthael, I don't know. Like I want to like him, but I don't think he's gonna be as good as everybody thinks. Like I don't think we're gonna see him in pro play. I think he's a pub stomp hero.
I don't see that.
Really?
I think he has mobility, he has self-sustain, and he has damage against the strongest comp in the meta right now.
He has mobility moving.
He has
forward.
engage. Yes, he doesn't have disengage.
Yeah.
You know,
like,
which hurts, but
if he's like, if a team fight goes poorly, he's probably going to be one of the first ones to die.
Yeah, but there's a lot of heroes like that.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that
like
there's a big
whole
buff
kit-
to...
Go ahead.
I mean, I understand that it is valuable to have a disengage. I fully understand that. That's why Falstad, is as good as he is with as low, like his damage numbers are lower than most other assassins because he can just disengage.
Right.
But
the other thing of it is that his entire kit centers around that Reaper's Mark. And unless you're getting good Death Shrouds out, his E, followed with Soul Rips and stuff like that, a lot of his sustain is not going to stick around for very long. It's almost like I really want to like Last Rites. Like, it's a cool heroic. I like how it looks. I like how it plays. I really think Tormented Souls is going to be the only way that he's going to be able to sustain himself in a fight.
I don't think you're wrong there. I think one thing he has going for him, though, his kit synergizes and his playstyle synergizes with the two best supports in the game. I think he's going to pair very good with Ariel, and I think Uther is going to be able to keep him alive without much peril. Because Uther really, really benefits when he's healing somebody who has a little bit of a sustain built into their kit. Because it's like, okay, here's one big heal, and you get armor for a while. You do the rest, buddy. I got to go heal this Chromie, Like,
right, and the other thing, and we talked about it a little bit, was the Dream Assassin combo, Cursed Bullet into Last Rites, and there goes a tank, essentially.
Yeah.
But
Last Rites is cool.
Last Rites is cool. I really want to like it. It's just he attacks so slow, and he kind of has to because his trait is really good. I will admit.
Yeah.
But like once that Death Shroud wears off, if you kind of whiff a Death Shroud, like a lot of your sustain goes into the toilet, and you can't. I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to outsustain 2-3 angry people looking to hurt you.
Auto attacks also apply the
that's
mark.
That's
right.
what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify.
I mean, this is true, but like Illidan has seen a lot of pro play over the years, and he suffers from very similar problems.
I think I do agree with Willie about Tormented Strike going to end up being the pick, because why are you taking him? So you can apply Reaper Marks to double, triple tank comps and shred through them as quickly as possible. You're going to accomplish that a lot better with Tormented Strike than trying to Last Strike
Souls.
Dream or Tormented.
Souls. Like
No, it's Tormented Strike.
Tormented
That's what
Souls.
Tormented Souls is the AoE ult. Last Rites is the Execute ult.
Blizzard, please fix your website. You have it listed as Tormented Strike in the patch notes. Thank you.
Does it really?
Blizzard does, yeah.
Yeah, it does say Tormented
It says
Strike.
Tormented Strike right
It's-
there.
it's
I wasn't
Tormented-
just pulling that out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Huh.
no, because Tormented Souls, like, it makes them tankier. So damage mitigation.
The 20
But-
armor.
Yeah, the 20 armor. So on top of applying Reaper's Mark to everything around him for 4 seconds, Soul Rip is on a 2-second cooldown. That's 2 seconds of extra sustain. The Reaper's Mark will last for 4 seconds, so you get 8 seconds of being able to press Q and just heal yourself.
I'll just explain how this is going to happen. For 3 weeks, everybody is going to take Last Rites. No one's going to touch Tormented Souls. Then someone in the HGC is going to pick Malthael, and they're going to make Tormented Souls look amazing because it's going to be very good in coordinated play for shredding down, tankier teams or whatever.
So like
Then a lot of people are going to start taking Tormented Souls and using it wrong.
Because
that'll be fun.
If that were true, then everybody would be taking Soul for a smash.
The interesting thing is that pro players use single target ult a lot better than uncoordinated play.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Last Rites will be better in pro play than it is in normal play, and Tormented Souls will be better in normal play than it is in pro play.
I still don't.
You think it'll be the opposite?
Like, I'm not saying that Tormented Soul isn't a good ult in pro play if you're picking into a multi-tank comp, but I'm saying that pros focus fire and we don't. Your random, Hero League comp does not focus fire well.
You're not
And
wrong.
so
I see
that's
what you're saying.
why, like, a Cursed Bullet and a Sulfurous Smash, or even like Chromie Time Trap, just have a lot more value in pro play than in non-pro play because people actually focus fire.
And I mean, if they can actually get that thing down to a 15-second cooldown, it's going to be crippling.
But
in the
again,
amount of damage it puts out.
If you're saying we need to pick Malthael into 3 tanks, and you're like, what's the easiest way to throw his shredding thing on 3 tanks? You're right.
Yeah.
It's Tormented Souls.
Yeah. So, I think he's gonna take some. This is why I don't want to buy him yet or commit to like learning what I think might be the way to play him yet. I kind of want to let everybody else on the internet do that for me, and then I can kind of decide if he is going to work the way I want to play him. So. I'm reserving any sort of judgment. I don't have a clear read on him. I certainly think he's going to be, like I said, relevant, but I don't know how good he's going to be. Like, just he could be like Medivh, where he's one of those heroes who only looks good, on the weekend in the hands of a pro, and just has an abysmal win rate for months.
I mean, we knew that about Medivh coming in. You look at his kit, and you're like, all right, this is busted in pro play and garbage in Hero League.
Do you get that feeling at all from Malthael, though? I feel like he's going to be very hard to use.
Yeah, I don't... Because Willie's right. When your mark falls off, you're a sitting duck. Which is... Or I can see, like, lower-tier players like, oh, I missed my E, and I got kited, and now I'm dead.
If you're playing at home, you have to down your drink. Carl admitted I was right.
So... But then you get to, but
You derailed Carl.
Also, at the same time, like, a silver player will just sit there and face tank Malthael instead of trying to kite him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, there'll be bad plays on both sides. I just feel like you're going to have a hard time finding good Malthaels compared to, somebody first picks Vala and you don't know them. You're like, that's probably all right. Somebody first picks Malthael, you're like, oh, God. This guy's either great or going to make this game not winnable. So, excited for him. I think he's got a really cool kid. I think the concept's very fun. He's gonna be cool, but will he be good? Time will tell. A bunch of stuff nobody reads about the art and the interface. I'm sure somebody reads it and cares about it and got offended, but I don't read the art stuff. The interface stuff, I don't think there was anything major.
The generic marker for some
caster
talents.
stuff.
For you cast this on your enemy to kill them. Like
oh yeah,
yeah. I think that's kind of major.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Because
and
now you know, okay, yeah, I can go on this person and get that kill. This will kill them.
I didn't realize that it was in the Section 2. Mastery taunts are out for hero levels 25, 50, 75, and 100. So
I don't even know how to access those.
There is a good section for it right there in the patch notes that everyone can read. I'm not going to go through it because it's actually a pretty long thing. Just, mastery taunts are here. That's cool. But anyways, we'll jump into the hero changes. And the map rotation's a little better.
And bolt range got reduced by 20%.
Yeah, just flat.
It's going bye-bye.
You think
they'll eventually phase out bolt and bring in something else.
Yeah, I mean that's what they did that like on 3 different heroes in this patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you still actually have a vanilla bolt, its range just got reduced by 20%.
Yeah, Kerrigan was one of those people. She got psionic shift, and it's a bolt, but it's a short distance, deal 50 damage to the enemies in here in the area. It's cool. It's probably what Kerrigan needs. She doesn't generally need a long range bolt, I would say.
Yeah.
Because she's got that jump and everything like that. Sometimes
it's
that little bit of distance to hit your Q on them.
Yeah, and they're basically a lot of these are rewarding you for using it offensively, and so you're less likely to bolt away from being caught.
And to be fair, they're making these changes on characters who generally use bolt offensively.
Yeah, they're saying, all right, let's give you a high impact level 20 moment, and not a high impact, oh, I didn't die moment.
Yeah.
And that's why with Raynor, they're just like, bolt removed. We're not talking about it. Moving on. Thrall, he got
he got a giant rework. I kind of wish Elena was here. She had written down all her notes last week for us, and we're talking about them this week. But I don't know. He's another one. Like, there's so much that got changed. I don't know how much it's going to improve him as a character.
Urho thinks he's going to be really good. Like, Urho is pretty confident that, like, Thrall's back at the top. From our discussion with him. From my discussion with him. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Is there a playstyle jumping out at either of you guys? Because I played very little Thrall. There was a moment where I was dabbling with Thrall, but I never really got serious about him. I mean, to me, it just looks like a lot of turnover on his talents.
Most of the talent tiers are like, here's all your Q talents, and level 4 is all W talents, and at level 7 is a whole bunch of like E or auto attack talents and stuff. So it's like, I don't know how much your talents are going to determine your playstyle. He does seem like he's going to be more pokey, and like with his stronger spells, which. It's probably part of why Urho likes him, because that's just really valuable to have on a melee assassin.
Yeah. And on top, he can now root multiple people. Like, Frostwolf goes through targets, which is pretty incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I think that kind of thing pairs well with Earthquake as well. Keeping people in that earthquake range, making them fight you there because they're more likely to be, stats. Yep. So a good wolf will come out. Pokey damage sounds good.
They also made him like the quest hero. He has like 47 quest talents.
Yeah.
So if questing is your thing, then Thrall is your new best friend.
He feels like a Warcraft character. A lot of quests to complete.
And
he was one of the characters you got a reworked Bolt.
Oh yeah, he got he gains Wind Fury when he bolts now.
Yes, and then Worldbreaker level 20 for his Sundering is no longer meme talent.
It's Fissure.
Yeah, so after you upgrade it, and now you leave a pathing blocker for 3 seconds where your Sunder was.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's really good.
That's
really good.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it definitely makes you want to take that more now. Not the level 20, the level 10.
Oh, Sunder? Yeah.
Sunder, yeah.
Yeah. You never picked Worldbreaker unless you were 16 levels ahead.
Let me put it this way. I've been playing the game 3 years. I only saw one person take it as a joke, and it was Twiz, like, way back in the day. And he yelled Worldbreaker from the core and cast it. Great.
Yeah.
No, but the new Worldbreaker is something I would actually take, because that's a battlefield shifting ult, and okay, you're behind a wall for 3 seconds, let us murder your teammates, we'll be back for you here in a minute.
That turns your Sunder into also a force wall. It's great. And honestly, that Windrush is pretty good too, because we talked about them not being used defensively. But Thrall, and I don't think this was changed, he still gets move speed when he Wind Furies, right?
Yeah.
So that's still
just as good defensive.
That's probably better defensive, because they didn't shorten the range enough for the more speed to not take effect, I guess. Or
no, they didn't. It didn't mess with the range. So, and even offensively, like, you can probably blink and root and get your 3 Wind Fury hits off, and then activate Wind Fury, and you can just get a whole bunch of damage off for a big combo.
Sustain off the resilience and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of potential there for Thrall. I think he's, again, I don't play him enough but it sounds like you guys are pretty confident that he's gonna be being picked quite a bit now, which is good, because he wasn't. Lily lost Bolt. Who cares? Malfurion got smacked around with a Nerf stick. Again, Jimmy loves Malfurion. Wish he was here to taunt him and explain why he thinks this is going to hurt Malfurion. But I mean, just me glancing at it through a support player, it didn't look good. Urho in the interview said he's gone, basically.
Yeah. Well, the biggest hit Twilight Dream passive mana regen is removed.
Yeah.
So that's the change that brought Twilight Dream into actual play. And it was probably one of the Blizzard cases of literally nobody's picking this ult, and it's good, so let's give them something broken to actually pick it. So maybe, it'll be both ults are viable, but it still really hurts.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he lost cleanse. That's what the other thing that made him good was when they finally gave him cleanse, because he wasn't in the meta forever because he never had cleanse. They gave him cleanse, he became good enough to pick, and then became the best. So losing cleanse is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah.
It was important to his kit because the way he heals isn't as impactful as like the best healers right now. Obviously, we talked about those two, but because they have big, strong heals that can really keep a team in. Ariel's heals are just they're jerks. She can do them so much for how much they heal, and if you have a good person on your team taking advantage of Ariel's trait and giving you plenty of energy to cast those heals, it feels almost unfair sometimes. But yeah, I mean, Malfurion's heals anyways, that was never his strong kit. You never took Malfurion because he had great heals. You took it for all the utility he had, and part of that was cleanse, part of that was mana regen on Twilight. So he becomes kind of a master of none all of a sudden, and you don't really know what to do with him. I mean, Ysera's gift is nice. It gives him some burst healing, but that crap isn't coming online until, level 16 when your team needed heals back at that team fight that broke out when you guys were level 8, So I agree. I think they took too much away and did not add nearly enough. They gave you a Moonburn quest, and they gave you this Ysera's gift, and they gave you like a bolt that casts Twilight Dream, which is cool. But I mean, I feel like Malfurion, he's gonna be a double support only now.
And then it's a channel, so this one you literally can't use it defensively. Yeah. There's no option, because sitting there for a second at the channel is not, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So
it's just so you can get 2 Twilight Dreams.
Yes. Well, no,
it shares the cooldown with Twilight Dreams.
So people were already bolt dreaming, but now it's like, okay, you can pick this talent to exclusively bolt dream, or you can do something else.
Yeah. And it's not its own thing. It didn't replace bolt. It replaced the buff to Twilight Dream. So it's not like you can Tranquility and have a bolt that casts Twilight Dream and essentially have 2 alts.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'll be the first to say I was wrong, but yeah, I don't like it. Willie gets some love on his Moonfire build though, so he's happy.
That's
right. I mean, if you're gonna play him, he might be the second support as a utility, and maybe Moonfire is a thing.
Well, it would be.
You're really just taking him for Tranquility and Wave Clear and a little bit of extra healing. Or not Tranquility, I'm sorry.
Moonfire.
Twilight Dream. But yeah, I don't know. Feels bad, man.
I messed around with the full Moonfire build a little bit here and there, and it still feels like your mana costs are about the same, but the hit to Twilight really kind of messed everything up there, because you kind of relied on the passive mana regen to kind of make full Moonfire work, because essentially the passive mana was enough to nullify the lowered cost of full Moonfire. So you'd have free Moonfires constantly.
I do want to stress Carl's point earlier too. I think he's right in that they overtuned Twilight Dream because they thought it was always good, and all they did was take it back to what it was. And it's probably still pretty good, but he lost. My thing is he lost cleanse.
Yeah, no, that was the I don't know what's in the box moment from 7.
Yeah, the final dagger.
Yeah. He opened the box and there was his mana regen. No!
What's in the box? So, our last hero here, we have Stitches. Stitches comes online at 20 now, I guess, because all they did was change 20 talents.
Yeah.
Regenerative Bile is now Potent Bile. Some cool changes there with the duration is increased from 2 to 6 seconds, but it no longer has the movement speed and healing bonuses. But the slow effect increases, so it kind of just makes what you actually used it for better.
Yeah, nobody cares about that. Let's talk about Hungry Stitches.
Yeah. Okay, go on. I'll let you talk about this.
For those Gorge lovers like myself, Hungry Stitches has been reworked. It's now, while active, Gorge has increased range and can be repeatedly recast until the first target is expelled. So keep that in mind. Gorging a target outside of the melee range will teleport Stitches to the target. So is that stupid Ballad just outside of your ability to get your hands on her? Cast it on her and just eat her anyways. The problem with that is it takes you forward, it doesn't take you backwards, which is the direction you want to be going when you gorge all of them. So
you do have to melee gorge the first guy,
right?
And then you can blink gorge their entire team.
Mm-hmm. And that will be fun.
And then he also can get a 20 where his basic attacks against enemy heroes heal him for 5% of his max health.
That sounds broke.
Which, if you take the level 1 health stacking talent, is an obscene amount of health.
Yeah.
So think about this. I believe Stim Drone Stitches will be a thing.
I don't.
For pubs,
I don't believe that's a thing.
That's gonna be a thing. Watch.
That's like a fun comp you're trolling with. That's not a thing, like a viable strategy.
Nah, someone will make it viable. Watch.
He'd need more attack damage somehow, because the speed would be good.
That'd just be like, okay, you can't kill the Stitches for the duration of Stim Drone, but it's not actually a threat.
Right. Let's kill that stupid medic that Stim Droned him instead.
You gotta get around. But then you gotta get around, so the first person to go on gets gorged. Just saying.
No. It's not actually good.
I'm just saying.
I think
Don't
cannibalize
really
is. I think cannibalize is good. I don't think
that comp is
Stim
good.
droning Stitches is going to be as impactful. But yeah, I think it legitimizes him as a tank a bit, even though it doesn't come till 20. But the role of a tank is somebody with some CC who can disrupt and stay alive, and he kind of has that in spades if you stack cannibalize on top of his kit. So it's nice, but again, none of this happens until 20. So how impactful is it? Like, because he's not already a top tier talent who needs a little bit of extra reworking, kind of in the tank.
I'm trying to think, because Stitches comps usually kind of fall off at 20 when everybody's safe, but none of these talents help him Stitches comp better, right? And he lost Bolt, so you can't do what you want to do any better than you could before.
So Hungry Stitches is the pick now, I guess. I don't know.
Probably? I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
I mean, it always feels like Stitches is taken when you can't outskill the person. He's that guy. Like, we can't outskill this team. They're better than us, so let's maim them somehow with Stitches and hope to, trap somebody and get kills. So I don't know how you fix that. Because he was always a hero that really depended on whether or not you hit the hooks. And
I mean, that's how he should be, right? It's like, okay, can you hit the hooks? Then Stitch is going to be really good. Can you do they engage on you before anybody gets hooked? Stitch is going to suck.
No.
And having a hero like that's not the worst thing. But you just have to recognize that that's what he's there for and play accordingly.
Yeah. Hope your team joins in and helps you secure those kills. So, I mean, not a whole lot else. There's a ton of bug fixes, but I'm not going to read off bug fixes because there weren't anything major that was like breaking the game, so we don't need to tell you, yay, you can play again. So that's the patch, really. I mean, it's big changes to Thrall, and a lot of little changes to other heroes, some big changes to Malfurion, and we get Malfeel. I was saying it's going to be hard for me to transition talking about Malfurion and Malfeel, because I always Malthael, because I always call Malfurion Malf, so it's not going to work if like I need a Malfurion and a Malthael to go somewhere else.
What is mouth?
The same
what is mouth?
Yes.
Not that
Got it.
hard.
Yeah, I think it's going to lead to a lot of bad communication from me, because I'm terrible at communicating with people. Anyways, so yeah, we have to jump into HGC now, which was pretty exciting this week. I mean, there was a ton of fun watching these round robin matches. I know, Carl, you were fairly busy this weekend. I don't know how much you got to see. I know Willie was been locked in, so. Willie, why don't you run us through some of the matches, and we'll jump in and share what we were able to catch.
Well, let's just get it out of the way. Roll20, formerly Team 8, goes day 1, goes 1-1 against MVP Black, to the surprise of everybody.
Yep. It was impressive.
Nobody expected that, even in the slightest. And they're holding their own. Like they had an 0-2 result against Fnatic. Much sadness, and then I forgot who on Fnatic said it was. Sometimes you lose and sometimes you play NA, and then MVP Black ends up rolling Fnatic, just not even close. It looked as bad as Fnatic playing Roll20, like just destroyed. So, and then so I had to tweet out at Fnatic and. So, sometimes you lose and sometimes you play Fnatic.
Nice.
But
E-Star.
Yes, I was just getting to that. Biggest surprise was E-Star just coming in, demolishing Dignitas. And then I believe they played L5 today, if I remember correctly. And they should have went 2-0. But they coughed one up. They coughed game 1 up so hard. They were on Dragonshire. They had the core down to 20%. They had to back. They lost like 2 or 3. Ziggurat got it in her head to take E-Star's Ziggurat got it in her head to take camp. Got picked off. They lost. It was just cringe-worthy to watch. And then E-Star just was like, okay, we're not going to do that again. And just absolutely destroyed L5 Game 2. Dignitas playing incredibly solid right now. I believe they pulled 1-1 with L5 as well, which was a pretty big surprise for everybody. Again, L5 BlizzCon champion.
Dignitas 2-0'd L5.
Did they?
Yeah.
Let me go down here. Dig.
On Sunday.
That's right. Okay, my mistake.
Yep.
My mistake. I misremembered the result. And the other surprise was Tempo Storm 1-1 Dignitas.
Yeah.
Because Clown Fiesta.
It was a good match though, right?
Tempo Storm got destroyed game 1. Like it was, LOL typical NA. And then game 2, like Tempo fired back really hard. The other Chinese team, we thought where everybody would be at. Like Roll20's still in a spot where they could potentially sneak an upper bracket spot. Though I think at this
Fnatic
point,
would have to drop some silly games though.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Though the best result for them is a tiebreaker with Fnatic right now.
Yeah, Super Perfect Team somehow 2-0'd Fnatic.
Yeah, it would be. That would be
Well,
the preferred
you're
result.
hoping Fnatic drops one game, you know.
If Fnatic drops one game and roll 22 Osnomia, then they get a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
If Fnatic somehow drops 2 games to Super Perfect Team, who's looked abysmal, then roll 20 can cruise in over them.
Yeah. So.
So they don't have the tiebreaker, is what you're saying? I thought you were saying they had a tiebreaker.
No. If both
Fnatic's only
teams-
up 1 game over roll 20 right now.
So if Fnatic drops 1 game and Roll20 doesn't lose at all, tiebreaker. If Fnatic drops 2 games and Roll20 doesn't drop any games, Roll20 goes into the second spot.
Yeah,
There's
I think
a
that's
lot of weird math involved at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, those ESPN outside looking in shows they do on the 13th and 14th week of football always confuse me, but it's fun to watch. So, I guess my takeaway is MVP Black looked great again. That makes Roll20 taking a series off them even more impressive. I think that E-Star has really shown us a different way to play Heroes of the Storm. Almost they're so aggressive.
Well,
they never stop being aggressive.
I forgot which team they did it against. I want to say it was Dignitas, where they pulled a no tank Illidan, protect the Illidan comp.
Yeah,
so Illidan,
because I
Avatar,
missed that one.
Tassadar, couple others thrown in. There was no tank in that comp, and they absolutely just destroyed who they were playing. Like, I really... Was this it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dirty.
Just seeing them play it's... If you haven't got a chance to watch E-Star play a game, do that, because they're a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Didn't the team that was better than them not make it because of visa issues?
E-Star?
Wasn't that a thing?
So. Okay, so
E-Star was like a last-minute replacement because the team that actually won had. So the team that actually won is better.
Okay, so game 1 against Tempo Storm on Sky Temple was the no tank Illidan comp, and it was Illidan, Abathur, Tassadar, Vala, and Ariel. So, and they just completely... It was like a 3-level lead when the game ended. Like, double Illidan on the core. It was just the most ridiculous nonsense I've ever watched work. So... Because you can't prepare for something like that.
Yeah, they're different. Like I said, just you gotta see them. If you didn't get a chance to, they're definitely worth checking out. Must see TV, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were gonna add something earlier, Carl?
I don't know that I was. I was going to talk a little bit about the standings and.
Oh yeah. Okay. Do that.
So MVP Black is locked in. They are first in their group. So there's I don't see Group A changing. I think it will be MVP Black and Fnatic going first, second, Roll20, Nomiya going third, fourth. Super Perfect Team, the Chinese team, is going to get wrecked in group stages to most people's surprise. But, good on Nomiya. L5 is third in their group, 3 points behind Dignitas, which is another big surprise. I voted L5 to win the whole tournament.
I think I think they're L5's locked into the 3 slot.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they can really overtake Dignitas.
I think the best they can hope for is a tie at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's why E-Star and Dig aren't locked into the 1-2 spot in Group B, is because if they 0-2 and L5 2 O's, 3-way tiebreaker right there.
Yeah. But it's very unlikely. So Tempo Storm and Soul Torturers are actually very close in points. So I'll have to check who they play tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day of group stages.
Tempo Storm
So-
is against L5, and E-Star is going against Soul Torturers. So, like, the worst possible matchups for these
So,
two.
yeah. So, given L5's been sketchy, Tempo Storm could pull games off of them. I don't see Soul Torturers getting anything as E-Star. So, if Soul Torturers does get 2-0'd by E-Star, which is the most likely scenario, Tempo Storm makes it in the 4th slot because they're already 1 point ahead of them.
Yep.
So, I think Tempo Storm has a chance of pulling a game off of L5. I wouldn't bet on it, but I think it could happen. So
Yeah.
Most of these 4 slots are kind of locked. You're gonna see Dig and E-Star in the 1-2, and then you'll see L5 and Tempo 3-4. So a Korean team is going to start out in the lower bracket.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I mean, it'll be cool for the competition, but
And we might get an MVP Black versus Dignitas, or I guess we're going to get either MVP Black Dignitas or MVP Black E-Star as our first game of tomorrow, or not of tomorrow, of the
Playoffs?
bracket play. Yeah.
I'm sorry. MVP, like, I got E-Star over MVP if that happens. Like,
It might happen.
it's not. Yeah, and it's not crazy to say that either.
like
Mhm.
is
E-Stars
just-
look that good.
Yeah, they just look absolutely incredible. It's ridiculous at the variety of comps they've been able to just bring to the table. You know,
Now,
meta picks outside meta comps, you know.
If we were sitting here looking at a 10-0 MVP Black, I think we'd be having the conversation would be a little bit different. But because they look so vulnerable against Roll20, you got to think like, okay, E-Star might be able to get some of that magic going against MVP then, or even Dig. You know, I mean, you can't really count any teams out against MVP Black just because they just took that loss hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, the top 4 teams here all look really solid.
Yeah.
MP Black, Fnatic, E-Star, and Dig they're all really good teams. I think this is going to be a really good tournament as the bracket progresses and we get all these really hype matches.
A certain pro does not think Roll20 is that good. I'll talk.
I said
about
top 4.
I'll talk about it off when the stream's over. But
I did not say any of the NA teams looked good.
Well, okay, that's going to be about to it. Make sure you tune in on June 17th for the Phoenix bracket, as they're calling it. That's going to be where all the action's taking place once all the rest of this league stuff shakes itself out tomorrow. Willie, you wanted to advertise our next week?
Yes, next week we will be having a interview, play with Faye, formerly of Team Superstars. She's been so gracious to give us an interview, so please look forward to that.
Alrighty, yeah, we are looking forward to that next week. We didn't have an interview for you this week. They're not going to be every week, but we do try to schedule them and work with the pro players and the people that we are trying to get interviews with. So it's going to be tough when a big event is going on like this right now. So, but we're going to keep at those interviews and keep them back. And you can see a lot of those interviews and many other great things about Heroes of the Storm at heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Alebeard has a new article all the time. They're always great. Read them. You'll learn. You'll love. Everything will be great. If you want, you can download the podcast there. You can check out all the other stuff on our site. We have all games there. It's a great site for your one-shop Blizzard needs. Not that you can actually shop there, but you can get lots of information about your games.
You can donate to our patron and get yourself a Heroes of the Storm Power Hour t-shirt.
That too. Yep, that is an option. Always review us on iTunes. 5-star reviews really help the show. We love those. Please hand those out. Our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BlizzPro. You can see all of our shows go up there later. Willie's interviews and hero spotlights. Plenty of other things go on the BlizzPro YouTube channel. We got plenty of other shows. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We got the West March Workshop, which is our Diablo 3 show. All these shows are hosted by different people, not just us. So, I don't want to make it sound like we do 5 shows a week when I say this. That'd be daunting. On Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, they have the Payload podcast, the Overwatch show. And on Monday, at 7 p.m. Pacific, there is Well Met. Well Met. And there's a new Arcane analysis. It's not so new now. They're probably 10 episodes deep if they've been doing episodes every week. That's audio only. It's not on the video cast, but you can download it at blizzpro.com to hear the new episodes. We have a Discord channel, discord.blizzpro.com. Best way to talk to us, play games with us. Usually some of us are on there. I know I've been on there a lot playing Friday the 13th, so we got a chat channel for that too as well.
We have to make sure when we play Friday the 13th, we discuss strategies to respect women.
Yep. Always a good place for that. Everybody can be found at their various address things, Twitter. You can tell I don't usually do this portion of the show. All the Twitter tags are right below us. If you want to contact any of us for games or questions or to tell us we suck, I don't care. Do it right there. That's what the internet's for. So I think it was a pretty good show. What do you guys? 7 out of 10 at least.
6.5 out of 10. No comeback mechanics.
6.5. All right. That's fair. No comeback mechanics for the show without DJ. So hopefully we'll have DJ back next week. But yeah, until then, everybody stay tight. I didn't like saying that. It felt, no.
Stay tight.
No,
Stay tight.
You didn't like that? You didn't like to stay tight? Stay tight, Mike.